Heather cautiously skipped up the creaking porch steps. She was eager yet uneasy to play with her best friend Jenny. Jenny's parents were mysteriously absent, but they had given their eerie approval. They planned to bake cookies, unaware of the sinister presence lurking.
Let's play dress up,
Jenny exclaimed with a strange excitement, pulling out a trunk full of old, dusty clothes. Heather forced a smile. She usually loved playing dress up, but then she saw it. Sitting ominously on Jenny's bed was a doll. It was ancient and made of cracked porcelain. Its eyes seemed to follow Heather with a malevolent gaze.
What's wrong?
Jenny asked, her voice tinged with an unsettling curiosity, noticing Heather's horrified stare.
That doll, it's terrifying.
Heather whispered, her voice trembling, feeling a cold shiver run down her spine.
Silly, it's just old. My grandma gave it to me.
She held it out to Heather. Heather shook her head.
No thanks.
She mumbled, backing away. She couldn't help but feel like the doll was watching her every move. Its painted smile seemed to widen. They decided to play with the dress-up clothes instead. Heather tried on a sparkly princess dress while Jenny wrapped herself in a velvet cape. They giggled and twirled, trying to forget about the creepy doll on the bed, but Heather couldn't ignore it. Every time she looked up, it seemed like the doll was in a different position. It was as if it was moving on its own.
Did you hear that?
Heather whispered, suddenly stopping their game. The hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. Jenny paused, listening.
Hear what?
A slow creak echoed from the hallway. It was the sound of a door opening. Heather's eyes widened in fear.
The guest room door. It just opened.
She exclaimed, pointing a trembling finger towards the hallway. Jenny rolled her eyes.
It's probably just the wind,
she said, though a hint of doubt crept into her voice. But Heather wasn't convinced. The door had been closed. She remembered seeing Jenny close it when they picked out the dress-up clothes. And there was no wind today. They cautiously approached the guest room. The old wooden door was now slightly ajar, casting an eerie shadow across the hallway. Heather's heart pounded in her chest.
See, nothing there.
Jenny said, pushing the door open wider. The room was empty. Heather scanned the room, her eyes darting around nervously. She felt a cold shiver, even though it was a warm afternoon. The doll's presence seemed to hang heavy in the air.
I think we should move that doll. It's freaking me out.
Jenny sighed.
Heather, you're being ridiculous. It's just a doll.
But Heather insisted. It was getting late and she wanted to go home. The unsettling feeling in the pit of her stomach wouldn't go away. Finally, Jenny agreed. They carefully moved the doll to the attic, placing it in a dusty old trunk.
See, all gone,
Jenny said, shutting the trunk lid with a loud bang. As soon as they left the attic, Heather felt a wave of relief wash over her. She just wanted to go home. The house felt different, darker somehow.
I think I should go.
She said, grabbing her backpack. Jenny frowned.
Already? But we just baked cookies.
I know, but my mom is expecting me.
It wasn't entirely a lie. Heather knew her mum would be wondering where she was. They walked downstairs, their footsteps echoing in the silent house. Heather couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them.
See you tomorrow?
Jenny asked as Heather reached the front door.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Heather mumbled, her hand already on the doorknob. She stepped outside and took a deep breath of fresh air. The sun was setting, casting long shadows across the lawn. Heather didn't look back. She just wanted to get away from that house. As she hurried down the street, she thought about the doll. It was silly, she knew, but she couldn't shake the feeling that it was more than just an old toy. She glanced back at Jenny's house. The upstairs window was open. It was the guest room window. And standing in the window, staring out at her with a chillingly familiar smile, was the doll. Heather gasped and turned away, her heart pounding in her chest. She didn't need to see any more. She knew then that something was very, very wrong. But she didn't dare go back. Not now, not ever.